18 years ago this week, back in 1984, one of the top hits in the USA was She Bop by a star who was told by one doctor after another she'd never sing again. But she proved them all wrong. I'll have details and that top hit after this.
Casey's Coast to Coast.
Well, now, what did Cyndi Lauper do during the 2-year gap between her last hit and her latest hit? Well, she made a movie and she went to Moscow. One almost ended her career, but the other started it up all over again. The movie was called Vibes, featuring Cyndi in the role of a psychic, and she says it was the worst thing she's ever done. She told, "I'll take a part hoping the script will get better later." It never does. The movie got bad reviews, and Cyndi got some of the worst reviews of all. And to add insult to injury, the song she recorded for the film's soundtrack, called "There's a Hole in My Heart That Goes All the Way to China," was the first real flop of her career. It discouraged Cyndi so badly that she couldn't work at all, and her health began to suffer. Then, when she was at her lowest, Cyndi went on a trip to Moscow with a contingent of songwriters and perestroika. The journey reminded her of what music was all about. She says, quote, "You get involved with being famous and forget about what got you started in the first place, which is creating music. I had lost touch with that. In Moscow, I rediscovered the joy of writing and the craft of making music. Over there, people have to work so hard to do what they love. And it brought me back to where I began, to the joy of going out on a limb a little bit and doing something that could be great." Cyndi returned to the United States refreshed and renewed, and the result of that new spirit can be heard on her new album, A Night to Remember. With the first single from that LP, here's Cyndi Lauper with I Drove All Night.
Music. From our Odd Couple file, Cyndi Lauper has recorded Santa Claus is Coming to Town with Frank Sinatra. Yes, but they didn't actually record it together. It was just like Natalie Cole did with her dad, Nat King Cole, on Unforgettable. Cyndi sang along with Sinatra's 1947 version, digitally remastered to match Cyndi's vocal. You can hear how it came out on the soon-to-be-released Very Special Christmas 2 album to benefit Special Olympics. And that, folks, is a keeper and a capper on all that's picked to click for this week's Music.
Casey counts them down.
Well, now we're up to a Casey's Countdown Extra, the #1 pop smash, True Colors. It's by a singing star who recently had fun by posing as a waitress at one of the hottest restaurants in Las Vegas. It all happened back in July when Cyndi Lauper was on tour promoting her latest album, a greatest hits collection called 12 Deadly Sins. The colorful singer was having lunch with some friends at one of the trendiest restaurants in Vegas, the local branch of Planet Hollywood. As Cyndi watched the hard-working waiters and the busboys, she remembered her early days when she worked as a waitress. And on an impulse, she decided to try and help the busy staff. So she called over one of the waiters, and in typical Cyndi Lauper style, she said she just had to speak to the manager. And when he came over, she boldly asked if she could help out. Looked at Cyndi in amazement. You see, she was wearing one of her crazy, colorful outfits. Not exactly the clothes to wait on tables, but he figured that having a celebrity waiting on tables would thrill his customers. And he told Cyndi, sure she could help. She'd go around to the tables, refilling the customers' glass with water and iced tea. And Cyndi did. She dashed around the restaurant with her green and blonde hair flying, pouring water and tea, and kindly reminding the people she was serving that she had a new album they might want to buy, and giving out autographs to everyone who asked. Cyndi had a great time at Planet Hollywood that afternoon, and she also had a great time when she recorded this #1 pop smash from 1986. As a Casey's Countdown Extra, here's Cyndi Lauper and True Colors.
American Top 20.
I'm Casey Kasem. We're on our way to the #1 song in the USA. Now, here's the song that was #1 on the pop chart 14 years ago this week, back in 1984. It's by a singer who grew up in New York and actually ruined her voice singing with cover bands in local clubs. Luckily, with the aid of a vocal coach, she was able to rebuild her damaged vocal cords and record big pop hits like Girls Just Want to Have Fun, She Bop, True Colors, and this chart topper.
America's Top Hits.
18 years ago this week, one of the top hits in the USA was by a star who was told by one doctor after another she'd never sing again. But she proved them all wrong. It was back in 1977, after 3 years of singing with a hard rock band, that Cyndi Lauper found she had no voice. It wasn't just that she couldn't sing. She could barely talk. She went to a string of throat specialists, and each one told her the same thing. Her career as a singer was finished. And then she heard about a New York vocal coach named Katie Aresta who could supposedly work miracles. Katie told Cyndi her throat was in bad shape, but if she combined vocal exercise with meditation, her voice should come back. Well, it took more than a year for Cyndi to sing again. And when she could, she started on the road that led her to one of the top hits in the USA 18 years ago this week.
Casey counts them down.
American Top 20s heard in the 50 states and around the world every week on great radio stations like KBIG 104, LA's upbeat Listen at Work station, Los Angeles, California, and Stereo 107 WUPM, Ironwood, Michigan. Well, now we're up to an American Top 20 extra by Cyndi Lauper, a singer who may give up on outdoor concerts because of all the criticism she gets from local birds. It's something Cyndi says has happened many times to her during her career, and it happened earlier this summer during a show where she was opening for Jessica Simpson and Avril Lavigne. The show was at an outdoor arena in Boston. Cyndi had just started singing when the stage suddenly turned into a scene from the Alfred Hitchcock movie The Birds. Cyndi says, "I don't know why, but every bird from miles around headed for the stage. They were dive-bombing me, shrieking all the time. I had to hide behind a monitor." Cyndi says it's far from the first time that's happened. She thinks it's something about her voice that disturbs the birds. And since she noticed that the birds don't bother Jessica and Avril, then she's sure of it. Quote, "The critics have never treated me as badly as those birds. I'm seriously thinking about doing all my shows indoors." Now, with an American Top 20 extra, here's Cyndi with a smash that's not for the birds. From 1984, Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Casey's Coast to Coast.
We've got the top hits by the top stars in the land right here on AT20. 23 years ago, back in 1984, one of the biggest songs was by Cyndi Lauper, a singer who went on tour earlier this year with Debbie Harry and Erasure to raise money for the Human Rights Campaign. From 1984, Cyndi Lauper with Sheba.